Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask John Hood and Chris Fitzsimon, the legislature's been talking about breaking apart large school systems like Wake and Mecklenburg County, making several smaller systems out of them. What's your take on this idea, and what do you think the benefits and potential problems are in doing so? John Hood, I'll start with you.
Well, I think the best summary of the evidence about school district size is that there is a non-linear relationship between the size of a district and either cost or performance. What I mean by that is if you merge some really small districts together into districts of 2,500 students or even 10,000 students, you probably get budget savings, and it probably doesn't affect the performance of the schools. But when you get up, certainly north of 25 or 30,000 students, there's a diseconomy of scale. You basically cost more to administer a district of that size.
Why is that?
Because when you get to a certain size, the spans of control and the lack of localism swamps any administrative savings. And we have districts in Wake and Charlotte-Mecklenburg that are in the six-figure enrollments, and they're simply way bigger than the average district in the country, way bigger than they need to be. I think carefully but properly they should be divided into smaller districts.
So some of these, like Wake County is like 150,000 students or something like that. Chris?
I understand that logic. I don't agree with it. I think that there's several things about this. One is, let's go back to why these schools were merged in the first place, because we had separate but unequal, not separate but equal, separate but unequal school systems, and they came together because there were the African-American school system, there was a white school system in Raleigh and Charlotte, all those places. That was one of the main drivers. It's interesting to me that Chris Malone, a Republican representative from Wake County who was on the Wake County School Board, who now seems to say he doesn't support breaking up the Wake County school system, and he's one of the folks who went to the Wake County school system as a reformer. I think there's real questions about what this does to our communities. I think that just because something is large doesn't mean it's always inefficient. I think breaking it up, if you use the 25,000 thing, we'd have several counties that would break, more than just Wake and Mecklenburg that would break up. I don't see the reason.
Well, I think John was just using that as an arbitrary number.
No, he was using it as the evidence. He was
John was not using that as an arbitrary number.
I just think, well, I'm not sure what problem we're trying to solve exactly. In some of these school systems, Wake County school system, I think there's some issues, but it does pretty well.
But John, let's go back and remember this. You were a mere pup at the time, however. Back in the 60s and 70s, the state was virtually forcing these city systems and county systems to merge together.
It was much later than that, Tom. I mean, there was essentially heavy state pressure to do this even 10 or 15 years ago. Now, interestingly, my friend and Chris's, Martin Nesbitt, was one of the great advocates for stopping that, because he did not want Asheville City and Buncombe County to be forced together. We can take these ridiculously large populous districts and we can divide them into smaller districts without making them racially segregated. The populations are such that you could do that, and let's do it.
Well, our friend Howard Lee has been advocating this for a long time, and on this show. Well, thanks for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.